Hey guys, and welcome back. Today we're reviewing the new Tarte Rainforest of the Sea foundation and also the matching concealer. This is the Aqua Concealer. If any of you guys watched my review yesterday on the other Tarte Gel Hybrid foundation, you guys know I was really super disappointed with it. It just did not work out well for me, so I have really high hopes for this one. This one's got a ton of hype on social media right now, so I'm expecting it to be pretty good. So basically the story behind these is that they're supposed to be a water light formula that's supposed to be pretty high coverage and last up to 12 hours. It doesn't say on the website what type of finish these are supposed to be. It just says that it's a radiant hydrating finish, so I'm assuming that they're not going to be very matte. I haven't tried either of these yet, so we're going to figure that out today. I actually think I got like the completely wrong color in both of these because like Ulta's website, Sephora's website doesn't list what skin tone each shade is for. It doesn't give you like a good description for yellow or pink undertones. I didn't realize that Tarte's website, if you go to the actual Tarte website, it does list it there. The color I got in the foundation is light medium honey. It looks like it's going to be a little bit too dark for me. I tried to bronze up my neck with some self tanner, so hopefully that will work out. But the concealer I got in the shade light is like very, very light. I wasn't expecting it to be as light as it is, so we're just gonna make it work. As per usual, I'm going to be using a beauty blender on one side and a brush on this side. I'm going to be using the Artiste Oval 8 brush just because it's my favorite foundation brush at the moment. So what you're supposed to do is just push down on this little button and it's supposed to pick it up in the little dropper. And this is the shade Light Medium Honey. I'm going to start with the beauty blender side. I actually don't think this shade is going to be too bad since I tried to tan my neck. So we'll just go with it. Okay, so it definitely blends out really good and just blends like right into the skin. It doesn't even really look like I'm wearing foundation, but it evens things out nicely. It's definitely not enough coverage for me. I'm going to go back in with a little bit more. Right now, with the small amount that I just used, you definitely get like a light to medium coverage, which is definitely nice when you don't want anything to feel too heavy, but you still want a little bit of coverage. So I'm going to go back in and try and build it up. And I'm using that full pump that was on the palette on this side of my face. The first time I went in, I used about half of it. So this is that full pump. This is honestly like a breath of fresh air compared to the other Tarte foundation that I just reviewed yesterday. This one I can already tell I'm really liking. It's just blending out really nice. It's not going into any fine lines just yet. It looks like skin, but it's also giving me some really nice coverage. You guys can obviously see the difference, but I would definitely say this is a medium to full coverage. It's doing a really good job at covering up all my redness, and that's definitely something I look for personally in a foundation. So we're going to go ahead and do the other side with the brush and use another pump. I also forgot to tell you guys, I didn't use a primer with this. I just did my moisturizer, which I always do, but no primer. So that's also a good sign. Really, so far so good with the foundation. I'm liking it so far. I actually didn't think it was going to be much of a matte finish, but it actually is turning out to be like a demi-matte. It still has a little bit of radiance to it, but it's drying down pretty nicely, and it doesn't seem to be clinging to any of my dry spots too much. I did exfoliate this morning, so they shouldn't be too bad, but I usually have some dryness around the outer perimeter of my face. I do get the most oily right in my nose area into my cheeks. It's normal for me to get a little bit oily throughout the day. We are going to wear this all day and I'm going to check back in later. But for now, we're just going to continue with the concealer. The packaging is similar, except it's not a little dropper. It's just a little doe foot applicator. Here, swatch. This color is really light, so if it looks really crazy on my face, don't make fun of me. I definitely picked a really light color. So I'm just going to apply this as I would any concealer. Whoa, that is light. Just in like a little triangle formation here. And then just blend it out with my beauty blender as I normally would. It does feel very serum-like, so that kind of worries me a little bit that it's going to fall into my fine lines very quickly. But right now it's looking pretty good. It did offer some coverage, you can see the difference. It's definitely a light coverage. I do want to see if it's buildable, so I'm just going to add like a little bit more just to see if we could build it up at all. And I'm going to use my finger this time just to tap it in. So I think that offered a little bit more coverage, but definitely not anything too buildable. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other side, and then I'm going to set this, and we'll go from there. I'm also going to highlight some areas of my face just so I'm not walking around looking like I'm wearing a mask under my eyes all day, because this concealer color is really light for me. right now, especially with the darker foundation. I do really like the way the concealer blends in with the foundation. It does look a little, like the tiniest bit cakey on my chin and a little bit in between like my forehead area, but nothing too dramatic. Like it's really not that noticeable, but just gotta tell you guys everything. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set my under eyes with the Laura Mercier powder as I normally would with any concealer. What I'm gonna do now is set the rest of my face and the foundation with the Tarte Smooth Operator Finishing Powder. It's just a translucent powder, there's no color to it. I just wanna set it because I'm gonna be putting some bronzer and other makeup on top of my face just to go out. So I'm gonna go do all that now and finish off my makeup, and then I'll be back in a couple hours to check up and let you guys know how this foundation has been wearing. Alright guys, so I'm back and it's been about 5 hours since I've had the foundation on, and honestly, I'm really liking it. Way different than my feelings about the gel hybrid foundation that Tarte just came out with. This one is so much better and I'm very pleased with it. And actually the concealer has really surprised me also. I'm actually liking that too. So let's just do a quick rundown of my pros and cons. Starting with the foundation, I don't really have any cons with it, but there's a couple little things I want to mention to you guys. The claims for this foundation is that it's really hydrating and like radiant and stuff. It really is more of a matte finish, which really surprised me because I thought since the claims were all about hydration and all that stuff, it really leans more towards the matte side. The only con that I have with this foundation is that I took some pictures with flash and it was like white cast city. really bad white cast. But the only thing is, I'm not really sure if it was the Smooth Operator finishing powder I put on top of the foundation or if it's actually the foundation that's causing really bad flashback, because I've never used that finishing powder with a foundation in photography yet. So I'm gonna wear this foundation again this week, and after I do that, I'll leave it down in the down bar if I thought that the white cast was because of the foundation or the powder. I'm not oily, it feels really comfortable and light, it doesn't really feel like I'm wearing anything on my face. This is gonna be a great foundation for the summer season when you don't want to feel like you're wearing too much makeup on your face but you still want some coverage. And it also has an SPF 15 in it, which isn't that high, but it's still good. It provides a little bit of protection from the sun, so if you're using it in the summertime months, it's definitely going to be great. Moving on to the concealer, I honestly thought this was going to be like a dud. I wasn't going to like it at all. The one thing I will say is that this concealer is definitely for someone who is not trying to cover a lot of dark circles. It's a very light coverage. If you guys are in the market for a really full coverage concealer that's really going to help cover the dark circles, then I would go for the Tarte Maracuja concealer. I talk about them all the time on my channel and I use them all the time. Those are one of my favorite full coverage concealers and they will cover like anything you got going on. So just to wrap things up, I think both the foundation and concealer are really great and they're living up to their claims. If I left anything out and you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!